My name is Patrick Andriani, and my grandfather was Leonardo Andriani, who was born in Italy in 1896, and he died in New Jersey in 1948. This was the document that the first thing that started it, if I remember correctly, was getting this in the mail. It had something to do with them, the Turnpike and the county having dug through this area, and they had found some remains and identified a cemetery. And then we realized that we kind of were piecing it together a little at a time, and then we decided this must be the Hudson County burial grounds, and somehow they must have found the cemetery, which we have been looking for 20 years. And there was and part of this process was they had to identify anyone who had family buried in the cemetery, and then they had to give them the opportunity to be told that they were going to take these remains, and they wanted to take them and put them into a mass grave. And I couldn't, in good conscience, have my grandfather be just thrown into some mass grave. I mean, and we had been looking for him for so long, and it was, to me, it was almost like this was meant to be, that this kind of happened, and this is my opportunity to find him. And I couldn't, it's like this was an opportunity. I couldn't look away and go, oh, forget it. It was like, this was the closest I'd ever come. And then when we finally did, it was just great, because they called me and they said, we want you to come to the place. We think you might have found them. And they bring me in, and then there's this this tray, this metal table, like a medical table, like an autopsy table or something. And then they just had all his remains laid out. They had found almost all his bone. And then they were showing me him, and they were saying, see, he had arthritis in his hip, and we knew he had a gold tooth, and he had a gold tooth, and his height, he was a big guy. They had him spread out, and they had him laid out, and it was just amazing. It was like, to see him, it sounds morbid, but I finally got to see him,